My hair is a disaster today, but you know what? I don't care, because it doesn't have to look good. Today we're doing something super chill, which is chilling. So I thought, you know what? We've never done anything like this. Anytime I'm filming a video, we're usually doing some important stuff or some educational stuff, and why not do something lazy and lame, right? So I have some snacks prepared, because I was like, chilling means snacks, right? So if you want to chill with me, get some snacks ready and let's go on this beautiful adventure together. Damn, this is melting. This is melting. It's really sunny outside. I should not be sitting at an office, and yet here we are. It's all for you guys. Again, I'm wasting a beautiful day on sitting inside. Just kidding, it's really cold. It's actually super windy. So what are you guys up to? What are you guys doing? Do you have any sewing projects or any fashion history projects, or do you have any fashion history era that you recently became really interested in about? Jesus, this looks like a 70s boys band, dude. This is not what it was supposed to look like. So the thing I'm working on right now is a whole set of 1890s stuff, which is because I'm attending an event in May, but also because I really like 1890s and I never really got the chance to do them like properly. I did a lot of 1890s outfits before just because I really like them and I feel like I really look good in them. Like, contrary to some eras where I completely can't see myself at all, 1890s is the look for me. Like, it's just right. So that is why I thought, where did I leave my drink? So that is why I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna make a whole set of stuff because I never really get a reason to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's always some side project that I really want to make and I never eventually get the time to do it, or like it's just some inspiration that I look at all the time and I'm like, well, that's nice, I'm never gonna make it. So this time, hell yeah, I'm gonna make it. The thing is, if you really like an era in fashion, it's really, really difficult to pick an actual inspiration. Like, you just end up being like, well, I kind of like everything, so if I could just have one of each of all the Pinterest fashion plates, that would be great. And weirdly, because day fashion and evening fashion is so different from each other, it's so difficult for me to find an evening dress or like a ball dress that I actually like, because it turns out I actually love the day wear, not so much what you wear in the evening. But 1890s is a really, really interesting era because it's very extravagant, like there is a lot going on, and the silhouette is quite striking as well. Like, it's really easy to recognize in the pictures, etc. But at the same time, it kind of fluctuates throughout the decade. Like, it just changes so much. It's so changing. These are sour, damn it. Not what I expected. This is not what I wanted. I wanted the milky ones. Why do I always end up like this? It was supposed to be a pleasant snack. Is it already warm where you live, or do you still struggle with like the weather? That would make sense if it was January, but because in January we had what we would usually call March, it's now all over the place. So the thing I struggle most with is the corset, because I'm not a corset maker, and yes, I can make a corset that will not make me die, but it doesn't mean it's a good corset. It doesn't give you the right silhouette or like the shape. So far, when I was doing mock-ups and like testing out stuff, it turned out that the best silhouette I get is when I use, did you hear that voice crack? I get, what the hell? The best silhouette I get is actually when I use the only corset I have that was made by an actual corset maker, and that's probably because it gives me a nice waist, but it's also like overall it just gives you a nice 1890s silhouette for some reason. I have no idea how, because I think it's based on an 1850s pattern, but for some reason it just works. I used it in the sweater outfit I skated in a while ago, so you can see that it kind of works, like weirdly. So if I don't get enough time to delve into corset making more and actually make something that gives me this nice like wasped waist look, I might as well just stick to this one because, you know, no one's gonna see it and it kind of works, so sue me. Another thing I struggle with weirdly is a chemise. Like, I just couldn't figure it out because I wanted one that has lacy straps. Actually, I was struggling with a pattern because I looked at extant chemises and, you know, what you see in magazines, and it's usually a really thick and like modest shift even. It's not even a chemise. It reaches, you know, your what's it called? Collarbone. And it's generally speaking, it's not as sexy as everyone thinks. So same thing goes for corset covers. Like I was trying to find a nice corset cover that will be kind of delicate because I was supposed to wear it under a ball gown, but all of the examples are really like tight and they reach really high on your neckline. So I didn't really find what I was looking for, so I was trying to improvise it based on some Edwardian ones, but then it didn't really work because it just didn't. So surprisingly, it's really difficult to make it. Oh my god, these are... I'm still gonna eat all of them though. So the plan is to design some of the garments, or like tell you what my plans are for the whole wardrobe thingy. I think the only thing I haven't thought through was a nightgown, but I actually do have one which is not historical but might work, so I don't think it's necessary to make a new one, though if I have enough time, which I don't think will happen, I might make one, who knows? I'm feeling spontaneous. That's the thing with it though, I don't know why, but I actually feel like making all these clothes, unlike what usually happens. So for the what's it called, undergarments, the first layer would obviously be a chemise, and I'm making my hair look like a little curly lamb thingy because that's what I'm planning to do. And then the chemise is, I wanted it to have like lacy straps, and then to have a little triangle lace insert in the middle, and then also to be a little bit gathered where the bust is. So it's more or less what it looks like, it's just that it's really loose because for some reason it's really loose around the armpits. I need to kind of adjust that, but otherwise it's okay. It's not great and it's not looking as good as I thought it would be, but it's not bad. So I have not made drawers yet, and again, when you look at what drawers actually looked like at the time, they're not as sexy as you think. Like Edwardians had their undergarments right. They just made it really sweet and lacy, and a lot of stuff was basically looking kind of nice. But with 1890s though, the bloomers or the drawers were just kind of like straight pants. They weren't super cool. So I thought I might as well just do Edwardian ones, simply because they look nicer. So here is what I would do if I was about to make a corset. I don't think it's gonna look like it looks in the illustration, but one can dream, right? So I actually bought a spoon basque, especially for this project, which is probably not gonna happen. But I did buy a spoon basque, which gives you a little curve at the end, and it's supposed to give you more support, I guess. I don't really know why they used them, but they were used in 1880s and 1890s quite a lot. So I bought it because I thought it looks nice. So I really like the extant corsets with sort of like bust gores that are reinforced with, I think, cording. And I really like the waistband kind of thing that I've seen in some corsets as well. It's usually quilted or corded as well. I think it might give you this extra cinch that you're looking for in 1990s, but maybe they're just decorative, I'm not sure. So at the top I'm just gonna add a little lace thingy with those little holes that you have for a ribbon. I'm not sure what the type of lace is called actually, but you know what I mean. It's like a typical corset decoration, which I think looks pretty cool. And ideally this corset would be black and yellow, but realistically I know I'm not gonna bother making it that way because it would poke through the clothes and it would just show through the corset cover and it would be just such a mess. And also I think I want the ball gown to be white, so I'm not gonna risk that. So if I ever make this, it's probably gonna be beige and maybe some red elements. But this again is a very hypothetical situation, and the problem is the one that I actually have is dark blue, so it's probably gonna be seen through the layers of clothing anyway. I didn't really think about that. So then a corset cover, which again, I'm not sure what to do because the original ones are sort of really tight and they're not really gathered or anything. They're just kind of like they adjusted the body form. But the one that I'm making is sort of more Edwardian in a bit because it's gathered at the waist. So the problem with that might be that it kind of bulks at the waist, and obviously you want as little layers at the waist as possible. So I'm a bit worried that it might affect my waist measurements and the wasp-waisted look. So if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna have to make a really simple tight bodice that's gonna work as a corset cover. Is it time for another snack? Yes, boy. You guys are probably like, oh, is that what Polish snacks look like? I don't think any single of these brands is Polish. Actually, this one might be, but not for long. Moving on. What was I talking about? A corset cover. So then we have a bum pad, which I'm using the one I used for the Edwardian dress, which works really nicely. I think it gives you a really natural effect, and I'm not really going for like the bustle pad or whatever, so I think it works, so I'm gonna use it. It doesn't really look like a bum pad here, so I'm just gonna show you what it looks like on a person. Yeah, that's a butt. And then on top of that, I'm going to have a petticoat, which I've already made, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like. It's made of a skirt pattern from 1896, I think, and it has a little ruffle. It's decorated by this little lace insertion right here with some ribbon in it, and then it has the ruffle, and on the bottom of the ruffle there is some more lace, and it works quite nicely. It's just a little bit too long. Like, it's literally on the sides, for some reason on the sides it's like 4 centimeters too long, and it just shows underneath the skirt, so I'm gonna have to adjust it. Otherwise it's quite nice. It's also gathered at the waist, so you don't have to worry about eating too much or like not tightening your corset enough and not getting into your petticoat, because I've had that before. They closed with a button and I was like, what am I gonna do if I just had a pizza? So not to worry, an adjustable petticoat it is. You know, actually maybe they're not that terrible, but I paid for this, I have to eat it. So then a day dress which I want to be a jacket with a shirt showing underneath, or maybe just a white panel that's kind of like a pretend shirt. And I want it to have those Lego mutton sleeves. I want it to be gathered at the waist with this little belt, and the skirt should be quite wide. And now here is what I can't really decide on, because I really want the dress to sort of feature some type of cape or like capelet, but I just can't really decide on the shape. So here is one of the fashion plates that I was really inspired by, and it features this sort of straight type of cape that just reaches below the bust, I think, and it gives a really cool silhouette, but I feel like maybe it's a little bit too stiff, and I'm also a bit worried that it will cover too much. Like, what's the point of making the lace insertion front if you don't really want it to be seen, you know what I mean? So there is also this other fashion plate that I'm actually a little bit more inspired by, that shows this weird boa slash cape type thingy that's really decorative, and there's a lot happening and I really like it, but again, I'm worried it might cover my waist, which obviously, you know, if I'm gonna have all the trouble with like trying to make it look good and trying to make the silhouette right, what's the point if I then cover it with the capelet? So I'm still not entirely sure, but I definitely want something to be happening there, because 1890s is all about having too much stuff on you, which is why I like it. And also I did order blue fabric for it, so it's actually gonna be looking pretty much like the fashion plate here, hopefully. And then I'm also debating on whether or not decorate the skirt as it is done in the beige fashion plate, but that will require me to make some additional panel underneath what's gathered at the sides, so I don't really think I have enough fabric for that, and like, who would like to make a double skirt? So I'm not sure about that, and maybe it's too much, maybe it actually is too much. But I'm really excited about it because I love the silhouette of the day dresses and like day outfits, and I find them so much more interesting than the ball gowns. I just think it balances out really nicely if you have the big sleeves and then the high collar, and there's just something about it, I don't know why. And I also feel so good in outfits like this. Like, whenever I wear this and I have to get out of it, I'm like, oh, not now. It just feels so right. No, I'm not a vampire. What am I using? So then we have the evening gown, which is which I've already picked because I just couldn't decide, so I picked the most ridiculous fashion plate I could find, and it turned out to be this white gown with a square neckline, and there is also this really cool collar thing, even ruff, maybe I should call it ruff, which is why I like this dress, because as I said, I like the neck being covered. Really big sleeves. But it's quite simple actually, like the whole design is not super difficult or like complicated, it's just really funny and strange. That's why I picked it. So the original is a princess line dress, which means the bodice and the skirt are cut together as a one piece. I don't want that because I don't think it's gonna accentuate my waist very nicely, so I'm just gonna separate it and make a waist band or like a belt thingy. This is what happens, and then the skirt is quite simple. There is a little bit of decoration at the hem, but I'm not completely sure what it is because the fashion plate is not the best quality. I'm assuming it's some kind of embroidery, so I might add something in there just for laughs, but it depends on how much time I have. And then she also had this really funny headpiece that I think is made of bird's wings. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna use bird's wings for that, but I'm definitely gonna use some feathers to make this headpiece. So the whole ball outfit is quite ridiculous, and it makes me think of magpie for some reason. I don't know why, or like some type of bird. And then I was thinking, you know, when you're sort of lounging between the events or like before the ball, I'm just gonna make a 1890s wrapper, which is not what you think.
Guess who's back?
Which is sort of like a dressing robe or like a dress that you would wear just to chill. And I've seen the originals from the era, and I just think they look so comfy and elegant at the same time that I just really wanted to give it a try. Generally speaking, it's just such a cute garment, it's just such a fun thing to wear, and it just looks so cute because it gives you this really dignified look, but it's actually just a huge tent that you cinch at the waist, so... You know what, you can actually get used to it after a while. Here are some other fashion plates or photographs that I really liked, and I don't think I'm going to be making them, but they're just such cute looks. Especially the photographs are just amazing. The ladies are so cool in them. I really like the see-through over sleeve that the lady has here. I really like the veil that this lady is having, and I might attach a veil to my own hat at some point because it just looks really cool. So now, fun fact, my fabric is actually on its way to India right now because I ordered it and there was just something wrong with the phone number and the email, so they couldn't contact me to deliver it, so it's on its way back to where I ordered it from. And yeah, hopefully it will make it on time, because like I have the mock-ups ready and I'm just waiting for that bloody silk to arrive, and it's stuck somewhere between Poland and India right now, so... And I really want this particular silk because I know they have really good silk taffeta, and I also don't want to order anything else because if that one arrives then I'm stuck with like 10 meters of silk that I don't need, so obviously I don't want that, but then I want the dress, so like what the hell do I do? But well, who cares? It's gonna be here at some point. So these are the plans I have for my spring wardrobe, and I also have two fabrics, surprisingly, because this is unusual, that I might turn into dresses that I'm actually going to wear on a daily basis that are not Victorian, that are actually 1940s. So, you know, surprisingly, there is stuff that I'm probably gonna wear this time. So thanks for chilling with me. Let me know in the comments if you feel chilled. Let me know if you feel chilled after this. Because if you don't, then it's pointless, then the whole video is pointless. But if you do feel chilled, then, you know, the prophecy was true. What? See ya. I'm off to India to get my fabric.